we're live. We are officially live for the first time. Well, I was live earlier, not long ago.
Oh, that's true. You were live earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're so back. We're so back. This is like what the sequel to Tanuki Talks.
We are. This is the. Never forget.
Yeah. I know. Real talk, never forget. If anyone's around for that, and you guys like watch those, you're dope. You're actually insane. You're goated. But yeah, no, we're here. Doing some like podcast style content for OSL. We've done stuff like this in the past.
Yeah. Well,
and the stars have kind of aligned to where we can do it again. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, originally you and I were on a team together in OSL for Athens, and we played on a team, the Flaming Tanukis, and I mean, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We got to do content. We got to do tier lists. We got to, talk our shit. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was just a cool space. I mean, I love creating content in general like this, and I've done other podcasts before for school and now for personal projects, which I need to get back to. I just have not had time to record with my partner, but it's great. I love doing stuff like this, and I love that we get to do this around a league that you and I both get to play in. And it just so happens that like now you're in Athens, I'm in Sparta, but you are coming to coach for my team, so to speak, just having another set of eyes and ears. And so I'm like, hey, while you're here, and look, you're on what, Dargans, but you're basically an honorary Albion.
I'm a cheerleader, bro.
At this point.
Yeah, I've been involved with Where's Albion for this will be like my third season being involved with the org. I know the owner's a dope dude.
Shout out to Majin.
Shout out to Majin for real. Anytime that guy ever needs anything, I'll come running and I help him out. So, but yeah, dude. Just really excited to kind of get back into it, honestly. So
yeah, I don't know why there just is this air of excitement around this season of OSL for whatever reason. I feel like a lot of people, I think 9.5 has changed a lot of people's opinions on playing the game right now and have been enjoying it.
Yeah, hard to agree.
This is allegedly the last Smite 1 season for OSL. From my understanding, I don't know if I'm a little confused on that, but maybe we'll get into that at some point. But as things stand, this is the last episode. This is the last season of OSL on Smite 1. We'll move that up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't just keep going all the way up. Oh no, I see what's wrong. Hold on. We'll do a whole one of these.
Small adjustments.
Small adjustments on the fly. I mean,
we are still more prepared than the Backliners podcast, so it's A-okay. It's
true. Fine. We are way more prepared than the Backliners podcast, but we don't need to talk about that. Dude, listening to Aggro's mic and Aggro's mic on the Backliners podcasts hurts my soul. It's as an audio specialist, I went to school for 2 years. I would consider myself a specialist.
Fair enough.
One would imagine that I know what I'm talking about. I hate it. I hate listening to it. I hear like the background noise anytime his noise gate, as it's called, opens up. You can hear all this like in the background. I'm like, what the hell is that noise, Aggro? Please, so dude. Goofy. It is so pretty goofy. But yeah, let's why are we here today? What are we talking about? I guess some stuff happened.
OSL. Yeah, the draft, that's a pretty big thing. So if you guys don't know, scouting games are a thing where people, they come out if they want to like show out and try and get picked up in the draft. And then the captains of each organization draft their teams for the whole season. And we've just finished the last draft today. We finished up with the Crete Draft. And we're going to be talking about some of those rosters, primarily Athens and Sparta. But just because the whole draft just ended, we'll probably go into a little bit of Delphi and Crete just today. But in the future, just primarily Athens and Sparta kind of talks. But yeah, so the draft just wrapped up.
Well, let's talk.
Teams have been made.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit before we get into that, though, just because I am. You were a captain the last 2 seasons. Yeah. You are not this season. Out of curiosity, I mean, because I imagine you were offered. What's the tea behind that? Why'd you decide to just be a player instead of a captain again?
Well, okay, so it's a mix of just my decision and some other people in the league's decisions as well. But realistically speaking, last season, the roster I had a small malfunction.
Implosion, some might say.
just the first round pick never showing up. It is what it is. It's fine. We love Esoteric anyway. Not really hate that guy. But realistically speaking, yeah. So last season was a rough season for the Athens team that I captained for. And the season before that, we make quarterfinals. You know, in Ascension, which was fine. It was an okay season. It's whatever. But now with a lot of the restrictions that some players have, to where they can't play in certain leagues being lifted, so you have like SCC players available to be picked up, and former players like that. The echelon of people that's coming into the league now is even higher. So if you can get a higher end player, I'd say you just go for that. So like I had a couple offers for a couple different teams, and then they ended up getting some really insane players to captain for their team. Nothing against that as well. I would take those players over me in a heartbeat too. So and then it just shook out to where I couldn't captain for Words of Albion again because of the esoteric incident, as I'll refer to it, where the first round pick didn't show up, which not inherently my fault, but you know, it's whatever. And I did tell Maj, and I said it's nothing personal. Like I didn't take it personally. It is what it is. And you know, I'm happy to still play with good people. You know, like whether that's from a starting position or a bench position where I never really take a starting position, because people will you know, filter out as it said.
Sorry, my hair was having a moment. It was like not having it. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, Snatty's freaking playing, which
no, Snatty's literally Snatty's the captain.
Some like, controversy about that, but we'll probably get to it at some point. Probably not today's episode, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe not today.
We'll have Strat on and he'll spill tea. Anyways.
Yeah, surely.
I mean, that's a valid reason, I think. You're not captaining, but I am this time.
It's true.
In Sparta, Majin reached out to me last season, and I did not get the chance to do it then. Well, yeah, some people just said no.
Yeah, literally.
Played another season, and then they said yes. So now I get to captain the Warriors of Albion. And I'm incredibly excited. I've had nothing but positive feelings around this situation. And the more we play, we just had our first round of scrims tonight, and we'll get into that a bit later. But I just feel so validated and really excited to continue playing with this team that I've really that we've put together. In all honesty, you, me, Majin, a little bit of Valve's insight, Ferendum's insight. Yeah, just a bunch of people's insight on this roster. And I'm just really excited it's gone the way it has and continue to do so. And excited for this season a lot more than last, I think, which I was kind of surprised about.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people are feeling the same kind of way. A lot of people, I think season of 4, as we called it in OSL, but the 4th season of OSL was like at a really weird point in the meta. You know, it just was a weird point in Smite overall. And then at least in the Athens side of things, a lot of people involved in that division weren't like the greatest people to be around vibe wise. So you're just like I guess we're showing up. So, but yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. So, but this season, I think a lot of people are gonna they're kind of rejuvenated. Smite 2 got announced, obviously. You know, we're playing this playtest. Smite 1's in a pretty good, fun spot right now.
Yes.
So. Yeah, so I think a lot more people are really excited to play competitive again. I think that's really a big part of this. So
yeah, especially in a season where it's kind of on the way out. I mean, as soon as Smite 2 launches and really takes off, I think in the first year, we'll probably see a huge rises in a transference, I guess you should say, of from players from Smite 1 moving on over to Smite 2, and eventually the death of Smite 1, which is unfortunate, but with the changing of the guard, so to speak, some things must finally end, but like a phoenix rising from the ashes, et cetera, and any other analogy one could say, Smite 2 rises, and hopefully it's a better game, which I'm a little worried about, but, you know, we'll wait and see. I think if they I think 9.5 has probably been very insightful to how to adjust Smite 2 when we played. I know it was me, Sifu, Ferendum, Rekka, we'll get to Rekka in a bit, and someone else, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but we played in the alpha tournament a couple weeks back. A lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy that I could only play 3 characters, and even then I didn't get to play those characters half the time. But yeah, it was fun. But there were things I felt that I'm like, this is fun, but I feel like this is just like I'm feeling the newness of this all. And I'm not enjoying the meta of it all and like the way the game is played necessarily. And so I think 9.5 will be really insightful to what Hi-Rez and Titanforge need to do to fix Smite 2.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think they built Smite 2 around trying to feel similar enough to Smite 1, like, you know, post 9.5, so like people could get into it. But now that they realize that people like, you know, quicker times to kill and stuff like that, I think it's going to be a lot more fun. That's why I'm really excited for next weekend, where we get to see Thanatos, the Morrigan, you know, Hecate. They're going to be in the game. Maybe we get some you know, some one-shot potential now with some of these characters.
Maybe we'll get on her back in. That would be nice.
That's true. Maybe
another hunter. Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to what we're here to talk about today, which is Sparta and Athens drafts mostly. Crete just finished up today at the time of recording this episode, and time we're live streaming this. We're live on twitch.tv/Spiritedbook. Going to be live on twitch.tv/Chaotic Hydra at some point as well. We'll be
probably like next time.
Hopefully, yeah. We'll probably this Sunday. I think Sundays is a good night to record, or maybe we'll see. Well. So depending on Well, my sets are at 6 p.m. on Sundays, so we'll see. Let's start with Athens because I know you want to start with Sparta tangents, but Athens was the first draft.
It'll be quick. It'll be really quick.
It will be quick. Real quick though, do you want to talk about scouting matches? Because scouting matches did happen. How many scouting matches did you play in, out of curiosity?
I played in like one. Two. But Athens is different because everyone knows each other already. So
right, yeah.
Yeah, like ranked is basically just scouting matches in Athens, you know? Like if someone's like, oh my god, this guy's a shitter at 2,900 MMR, then
no, thank you. Not my first round pick.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so like I played in a very, very low amount. There's also just like a lot of low amounts of scouting games in Athens anyway, but they look at things like off season as a different league. Content Creator Cup is something that people look at, which outside implicates on the draft, by the way. And I'll talk about that.
I know what you're gonna talk about.
Oh yeah. But and it's just stuff like that. Like, you know, people look at AGL where they've teamed with AGL, like other QSL teams. So they just pull information from those leagues, and they basically, even if they host scouting games, they don't look at them in Athens. Basically, it just never gets that. So it is what it is. I think that's like a space for Sparta players to like see, like, hey, I want to try and compete with Athens players. Maybe I can, like let me just see how this feels.
Yeah,
like, let me see.
Agreed.
Let me see if I can
compete
if I hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that bring anyone to mind?
Yeah, absolutely no one. Moving on. I, as captain, I had to host scouting matches. And I spent so we had 2 weeks of scouting matches. I had a scouting match from Monday to Friday, one scouting match a day, and that was fun. That was very insightful. A lot of players that I had, a huge variety of different players that I had play. Some who I would put on the list of players that I would want to play with, others who I was like, yeah, maybe not. But it was very insightful, and I think the most insightful of it all was to see, because I obviously knew which Sparta players I would want to play with, ultimately, and I kind of said, okay, well, let's see if there's any hidden talent. Let's see, and there was, like Eden 5, and Eden 5 got drafted, but he was on the list of soul laners that I would have played with if things went differently in the draft. But ultimately, like, or Eden V, I don't know how he wants it called, but like it was very insightful of like, here's players that I would want to play with. Here's who I would look at differently. Like there was a lot of different things where I'm like, this is really cool. It was very stressful because I hated being messaged the day of or not being messaged at all by players when they would not show up, and just having to find subs to deal with that. So, but it was good. It was a good week. It was one match every night, every day, Monday to Friday. It was, so 5 games or 5 sets, I guess. But yeah, it was good. And it was insightful, and it brought us to the draft, which is the rosters. I don't really know if we want to touch on the draft at all, aside from maybe who first pick was. I don't know. Like, do we want? Who was?
Well, you want to talk about Sparta first? Or
Oh, I think we should talk. Well, it's Athens to Sparta to Delphi to Crete. We should talk about Athens first. We'll talk about Athens briefly. We won't go too deep, but I just want to be like, who was first pick? What are our initial thoughts? Like, blah blah blah.
Yep. So first pick overall in Athens was Quona. It's a rename from NMR. If anyone's familiar with that player,
wasn't it Valo? It was Valo, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Sorry, Valo was first pick overall, and then whereas Albion took Quona, which is NMR.
NMR. Yeah.
But Valo ends up going. Valo's a super sick player, SOC competitor. Pretty sure he played like SDC play-ins or something. He just has a lot of comp experience. So overall, really sick player. Everyone knew he was going to go first round in the draft. It wasn't a secret. Same thing with second pick, which was NMR, which is Quona, new rename. What is surprising though, and I want to talk about the Words of Albion draft. So this year, this season, Valve is captaining. Not a Valve game is captaining that team, and he ends up getting, in my opinion, probably the best Athens roster the Words of Albion has ever had. Having Quonas, NMR, Swagga, Dr. Dilf, Punstall, Renown, which is the rename from Kamo Doggo, and Dummy Slick. So you have a really good roster there. But ends up taking Swagga and NMR, which are both primarily junglers, but NMR can play ADC as well. So he ends up taking two of the best junglers in the league and making one of them off role.
Yeah.
Which hurts every other team, by the way. And theirs is still a really good team. They're scrimming. I think they're all getting along really well. So really excited to see what that team can do. Otherwise, surprises in Athens draft. Gabe Eaton's the captain, and Skog's gonna know one surprise. But it's surprising that he's not playing mid. He's playing jungle this season. So
yes, I heard about that. So who is mid for? Is it only no? Who is it? Is it
no? Mythical is the he's the
ADC.
ADC.
So
Wake,
is it?
Wake's primarily a jungler, but he's mid laning for the team.
All right.
So
all right, sure,
sure,
literally, sure, man.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Gabe Eaton's gonna go jungle, and he's gonna grab another jungler to off roll. It's just you got that mid jungle synergy already.
Yeah, they'd be an amazing team. I think they're probably still gonna be a good team, but they'd be an amazing team if Gabe just went mid and Wake went jungle. But it is what it is.
For sure.
Let's see. Storm is a captain in Athens this season. He's not playing support ever again, from what I understand. He's he's a mid lane captain this season.
Sure, man. It's Storm. I don't understand why Storm role swap to begin with, and then I never understood because I don't think he's very good. Like, this is just our opinion. Like, I don't think Storm's very good in other roles. I think he's a very good support. I don't know why he doesn't just play the role. Right. Because, like, look at this team, and you're like, okay, Storm would be great on this team. Yes, Koja Fox is there, and we know Koja Fox is really good. But, like, trade out Koja Fox. You got Antonio, Control Alt Eat, Elder, Alfie's there to play solo lane and just be like Storm Alfie doesn't sound like a bad front line, but now Storm wants to play mid, and he's going to have a lot of like mid competition to deal with that I don't know if he can stack up against. So hopefully his team can just really work around that and they do well. Yeah, I mean, mid's one of those roles where you have like so many, like first there's a ton of mid captains already in Athens anyway for some reason. And then like the ones that like are mid captain, you're like, okay, like they're going to dip everyone else. So like, does it really matter how good of a mid laner we have, or do we just want to gap the side lanes and get a really good jungler? Just depends on what the teams are thinking. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, like team's kind of cool. Let's see. Is there any other surprises? So
really surprised about?
Just I guess real quick. Do you want to like we can talk about Sparta call? I'll talk about Sparta call-ups next. But like, who do you think just on paper is the best roster here out of the Athens?
Kids with Mittens. Kids with Mittens by a mile. They have Snatty as their captain. They have Zaylin, which is renamed from Antics.
Antics is really good, by the way. But I did play against him in a ranked game the other night, and that was interesting. We won. But that was interesting.
There you go. So, but yeah, they have Digits, Capesso, solid support. They have Humu, solid mid laner. Kane, Tempest. I drafted him in jungle last season. He played phenomenally, in my opinion. So
Kane is cooking in the rank queues lately. He's doing really well. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's insane. So I think that team just on paper is the best. If they have a lot of personality though, so maybe if they don't mesh, they'll have some problems. But I don't see that really being an issue. I don't see that being an issue with Snatty being there. Like to them being on that team, they're like, oh my god, like this is our opportunity to like play with an SCC player. Like there's no way we're not gonna like just be professional.
If he says something, they're gonna listen to it. So
exactly,
I don't see anything. I don't see any way that ever goes wrong.
So,
but yeah, other than that, I think that's really all of Athens.
Yeah,
the draft came and went. Everyone picked up some solid characters.
My biggest surprise is that T-Souls got drafted.
T-Souls did get drafted.
T-Souls got drafted on the Bard's College by Waller.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I did not expect that.
I mean, T-Souls is a soul demon, man. I mean, like, you need a really weird reschedule.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Losh is a soul laner, and Losh cooks, man. I don't think he's ever seeing play. So T-Souls is just there to vibe, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, man? If Soul's ever just insanely OP, they have the soul player. They also have the Morgan player.
Morgan down bad.
Yeah, so they have the Morgan main and then the soul one trick. So it's gonna be insane. That roster will be a roster. So
yeah. Sparta pickups who were in Sparta last season were Vayu, Arijo G, 2 ADCs, and one more, Cosmic Vibes. Cosmic Vibes was really good last season, got drafted pretty early on in Athens, and excited to see how he plays. He's really freaking good at the game, so hope he does well with La Jungla. Vayu will be solid with GG. Vayu is probably the best ADC last season. Arijo G was another really good ADC last season. Glad those two aren't in Sparta, which is good for me.
No competition
now. And let's move on to more Sparta stuff. Hopefully that hopefully that Oh Hey fan.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, it's the follower notification. Someone followed, but hopefully it didn't go through the stream. Someone let me know if that went through the stream, because if not, I need to fix that. Moving on, Sparta drafts. We have a lot more to talk about here. We'll pretty much go through every roster, I think. Just on paper, what we think. But what do we think of?
You want to go left to right, top to bottom?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the draft in general. First of all, what happened before the draft, which was the week before, or was it the week before scouting games? I think. It was like the Sunday before scouting games. We had the marbles tournament.
Oh yeah. The marble
that
race.
Was so
the
fun.
Marble race.
That was so fun.
That's my favorite way they've ever determined who's the picking order. That's by far always been the best. 4 Warriors of Albion captains, Hydra, all sitting in a voice call. Ferendum was there, all watching this Twitch stream of marbles rolling down a very elaborate sequence of walls and cliffs and whatnot to reach to the end. Our run was the best one there. That was so cool to watch, because we were kind of like always in contention. We were like third, and then we were zooming, and then we got the right exit that took us right down, and the person that was in front got knocked out. Then the other person who was now in front kind of got caught in on a bad exit. We zoomed right down, got right to the end, got the perfect exit off of a turntable thingy, and headed straight in, and we were just screaming our little heads off. It was so good. That again, by far, that's the best way they've ever determined pick order for OSL. It was so entertaining.
Agreed. It was
I'm not even saying that just because we ended up with a really good spot. But it was so fun to watch it. So if they need to bring anything back from the season, please bring that back. That was so much fun.
And it didn't determine pick order, which was nice, because this time it determined where you get to pick. So we won, and we had a time period. We got to pick where in the draft we wanted to be. And there's a moment where we were kind of like, do we take second? Do we take last pick? Because then we get the double snake, but also we get to kind of see where the draft is. And then eventually we were just like, let's just take first. We get to decide what we want to play with, and let's just go for it. So yeah, we took first overall.
Yeah, and I like, a lot of people are gonna be kind of trolling. Like they're gonna think we were trolling with the draft for some reason, because we didn't take a Athens drop down first overall.
Yeah,
we just took the like Sparta players. I know that there were some Sparta captains that are like, oh my god, they're wasting having first pick. Like they're not taking the Athens drop down. Well, guess what? Some Sparta players, like if you looked at the Athens drop down this season, some of those Athens players are not just like leagues and bounds better than the Sparta players.
No.
And they dropped down for a reason, whether it was like they just didn't have a great vibe with them, or they had like some time like availability issues. So like that they're not always just the end all be all, like, oh, you must pick this person. But they did go very early in the draft though, to be fair. So
yeah,
just not to us. To us.
And some people just didn't go, almost went not at all, or they got drafted in sub rounds. But we'll get to that in a bit. So who did we draft? first overall. We spent a long time talking about this.
So this was
It was back and forth. It was like, we want this player, then we want this player.
It could have been so many people.
It could have been like 6 different people at one time.
Yeah, and then we narrowed it down to about 2 people. I think we want to say the name of who it almost was.
So it was toss up between 3, and then eventually we decided it's between 2. So the 3 were Death Guy, Kernoin, and Zexy.
Yeah,
and you and multiple other people were telling me Kernoin.
Yeah,
and I kind of said okay. And then the day of draft, like an hour before 6 p.m. And I'm like, Hydra, we gotta talk, man. We got tea to spill. We gotta we gotta sort this out, man. And I'm like, I don't think I teamed with Kernoin last season. I love working.
An AGL Glacier Championship with Kernoin.
We did. Kernoin subbed in for finals of our AGL team for Glacier, and he popped off. And I love working with Kern. I'm surprised he went so far in the draft. He did go first round, but still. Or did he? Yeah, he did. Okay, he did go first round.
He did.
But I'm like, look, I love Kern, and I wish him nothing but the best this season. But I just said in my heart, I'm like, okay, I don't think this is the play. Let's grab Zexy, because Zexy had a phenomenal season last season for coming in where he got drafted, and
he did win.
He won. He did
win.
He came in as a sub round pick for Bards.
Yeah.
They put him on the main roster. Jinx goes to support, and I don't want to say Zexy carried them because that's not what happened, but Zexy
he performed very well.
He turned the team around, and you can't not give him that credit. And so he gets all the credit in the world for turning that team around, being on the main roster. So a lot of credit to Zexy. I'm like, we're just gonna grab the #1 overall jungler, I think, in the league. Yeah. And I think he's going to do really well this season. So that was our first pick.
Agreed. Yep. The next pick after that, I mean, I think, let's just go down our roster here.
Yeah.
We took Helenu.
Well, so because we're first pick, we had to wait the entire 2 rounds, I guess you could say. Like we had to go through an entire bracket of round. Then it's a snake order, so it goes back. Best part about first pick, though, was we got 2 picks as a wraparound after 2 rounds. And so we were this close to getting a dream draft. I think we still got a dream draft, but we were this close to getting really the ultimate draft that I think we perfectly wanted.
Agreed.
Just because the way things went, we didn't. And players got drafted just before in the second round, and we were like, oh, damn. But we still got Halanu and Rekka, 2 fantastic, just mid, if not top of their role of... Good.
Like he'd be like, hey, like that was a shit call or something.
Like even just being like that's a shit call, but like in reality you're just like fucking with them and like learning things like that. Which
fun fact, Mex did ask Helena, he's like, what can I say in the server? I haven't played OSL before. Had to give him the rundown, bro. We do
have a mod. We have mod abuse powers on our team as well. We don't actually, but Helanu is a mod and has access to everything, so we can get the tea. We can't, but we can.
We can.
But yeah, Mex was in Delphi, and we're like, okay, so we were going to pick another support if they weren't picked before this time. And then we grabbed Halani Rekka, and we were like, okay, now we can just last pick our support here. It'll be great, and we know they're going to do well. And then Snake Draft comes back around, and we get Mex, and the rest is history. And then we pick up Afro Protege and Tunda as subs. And
Afro Protege, they're an Athens drop down. And also their main role support. So like if anyone had any qualms or like worries about Mex, and mid, very true. But if anyone ever had any worries about Mex, well, guess what? They have an Athens drop down on the Sparta roster who plays the role in very, very high level lobbies. So like at least at a bare minimum, they're gonna do what you need them to do. And so your support role's just covered at that point. So like there's nothing to worry about anymore. Yeah. And I chatted with her today, and we had a good little chat. I'm like, do you want to like just hang out and like, or do you want like, because we said before the season started, like our goal is to get Tunda, for example, is on the trade block. Now, this isn't because I don't like working with Tunda. This isn't because I hate Tunda. I want to see my subs
start on a main roster. And so I want them to see play. And if I can't provide that for them, I'm going to put them somewhere else where they can. So I have Tunda on the trade block. And I think he will eventually get drafted or traded halfway through this, if not halfway through the season, soon. But I chatted with Afro. I'm like, you know, you don't have to stay. You can, like, I can put you on a trade block. I gave her the same spiel. And you can, but she just said, like, I'm content staying. Like, I'm happy to sub. I'm just happy that I got drafted. And she seemed like she vibed really well. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, we don't have to trade you and we could just keep you around and you could just vibe with us. And you can even stay as a coaching staff if you want and help out Hydra. Just give little pointers if you see them. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. Yeah. And I'm excited to work with her as well. And Tunda subbed in tonight for scrims. We'll get to that in a bit again. But he was phenomenal to work with once again. And I had him on my team last season as a sub, so I knew that was going to be the case. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, W draft.
W draft. Very good draft. And a lot of people have been telling me very good draft as well. So that's been very, what's the word? Very like...
reassuring?
Yes.
Validating.
Validating. Maybe. That's the word I was looking for.
There we go.
Yeah, it's been very validating. So let's talk about the drafts in general in Sparta. Like, I mean, we have our draft, which I think will be very good. I will say, I don't think we're going to be a top team to start with, but I do think we're going to grow into it as the season goes on. But that's just
this
me.
Guy's the only one that has that take, by the way.
I know. I am the only. Everyone keeps telling me you guys are gonna cook, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. Push his hair behind ear.
Okay. Listen, guys. I'm not a Spiritedbook glazer, but let me break it down for you, right?
Oh,
so you have at least, at minimum, one of the top 5 ADCs in Sparta. Most people would agree with that. Then you have actually some people say one of the top 3 junglers. I don't know if you. Everyone's gonna agree with that. Oh no. Anyway, hella new. Very just consistent mid laner. Easily going to be like top 5 in the role, I think. Rekka, very, very solid solo laner. Top of his role. Mex, some people are going to be like, oh, he's going to be the weakest link. He's a Delphi call-up, like, blah. He's going to be consistent. He's going to do what he needs to do. Boom, period. And if he's on a top performing team, he's going to look like one of the best supports in the league. Sorry to tell you. And then you have very, very solid subs. So if fucking Helano can't make it, you have Tunda already.
Yeah.
Goat. Sweet. Like, The roster's consistently good. There's not really a weak spot in it, and they all vibe together. If they do bad this season, I'll be very surprised. Like, straight up, like, I'll just be really surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal here is playoffs. Sparta, Warriors of Albion and Sparta haven't really made playoffs, I think, ever. If I'm not mistaken. If not, they have. I can't remember. They haven't done it. They didn't do it last season. I know that. But I know they haven't done it in a while, or they haven't done it consistently. But yeah, I agree. I think the goal this season is playoffs, and anything less than would be a failure for me personally as the team captain. So yeah, I mean, for sure, like, that is the plan, is playoffs and then making a run there. Paragon made it to quarters season 2-3. Okay, so that was like, how did Paragon do? I couldn't remember if Paragon made quarters or not. But like, I've made semis consistently. I want to make semis again. I love best of 5s. I still want to win another best of 5. I've only ever won one in Smite, so I want to win another one. So we're gonna do that.
Sure. Feels good. Always feels good to do those.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's talk rosters.
Yeah, let's talk about Wailing Banshees next. They took the first Athens drop down. Twinkle Toes 12 got drafted first to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it's our fucking show. We could say what we want. Twinkle Toes 12 sending me a DM the day after Athens, or the day of Athens draft, being like, "Don't draft me. I don't want to play with you. I'm gonna self drop or ask for a trade right away because you're a high pick." And I'm like, "Wasn't looking at you before. Still don't want you. So to each their own, buddy." Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Listen. Consistently. I'm a believer. It's a draft league. You get the team that you get drafted to.
Exactly. Like, that's the spirit of the draft league.
But I mean, there's gonna always be, a run where everyone's like, oh, like, at least they gave you a heads up and didn't just be like, oh, you drafted me, I'm self-dropping, and then. But
yeah,
to be fair, that would have never happened. You weren't looking at him anyway.
Exactly. I just thought that was the last thing I ever expected that evening was
exactly
a DM being like, no, don't draft me. I don't want to play with you. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I got you. Yeah,
sounds
but
good.
so you have
Works for
you
me.
have Marm as the captain for this team. I'm not very familiar with Marm's game.
Marm has been around for a bit. I played with and against him before.
Okay.
And I think I played with him before. I've played against him a couple times, but he's kind of been in and out, and he vibes with like Strat and them, and like with like Ninja XK, who was drafted as a sub for them. But yeah, like it's an interesting team. I mean, Rich is then drafted as well. Rich was a mid laner we were looking at for sure. We love Rich. Roman, who we did not look at for reasons. Jay Swervy, who is hit or miss, and we'll see if they can do well. Boots and Cats, who was the Athens GOAT, but did not do well in Sparta at all. So that tells you how ADC is as a role. I don't know what else to say.
True.
And then Ninja XK, who once again vibes with Marm and was a Delphi call up.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty. I don't know.
Russ is solid.
It's solid. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like they have star power, but the star power is inconsistent.
I see it in the chat. I don't like Hydra. He beats me in rank. Believe it, buddy. You better believe. I'm joking, actually. I lose 90% of my ranked games, by the way. That's actually a weird number. I lose a lot of ranked games sometimes. Especially on my main account, I lose a lot of ranked games. So there's that.
We have crazy.
I think we do. We might.
Damn.
But yeah, no. I think that team. I think that team actually might have a lot of synergy. I think they're all like boys. Like they all like vibe together.
Yeah,
makes sense. Like they've all been friends like for a little bit. Like so then they've been friends outside of this. So I think we were talking about Words of Albion having a good vibe and like that camaraderie being really important. They have that too, and I think that's something that a lot of teams are going to be lacking. So if they perform really poorly this season again, I'll be pretty surprised. And again, they do have TT12, Twinkle Toes 12. He was inconsistent in Athens, but in Sparta, I'm sure he'll be a top performer in his role.
Yeah.
As long as he has the passion to grind the game.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
We'll see.
Going Ghost for the next pick. Jolliver once again captaining that team. First round picking, excuse me. Athens dropped down Mini, who I did not think would get drafted in Athens. Just because I knew a lot of people would be role swapping players to play in ADC. So Mini once again in Sparta, here to attempt to terrorize me in the duo lane with his Donzo yet again. This time being rounded in the duo lane, one would imagine with Jinx Q, but probably not. It's going to be, there are 3 potential support players on this team, and I don't think Jinx Q is going to be the one. My understanding is that it's Jolly mid. Jolly will mess with this roster, because I was talking to D-Liz, who's also on this roster, and he was saying, yeah, there's a world where I start. I'm like, okay, question mark. So as things stand, and I understand, the current roster is Jolliver mid, Mini ADC, Jinx Q jungle, Moose support, Bugle Wizard solo. D-Liz support sub, and then that one Panther as a sub. That's how I understand it. I don't know if this roster will stay that way per se, but that's how it is right now, going into Golden Apple, I would imagine, or before scrims.
True. And
it's good. It's good. The backline's good.
Jolliver mid. Yeah, Jolliver mini backline. You could get a pencil and an eraser as their front line, and as long as they make enough space on the page, I think that backline will win games for you. So like overall, it's a Jolliver mini roster. Again, I'd be very shocked if they did poorly.
I'm shocked Jinx is jungle.
Poorly, though. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
because Jinx is really good at support.
Jinx was amazing in support, and again, when I come back to Zexy like didn't carry. The reason Zexy didn't carry is because Jinx moved to support and ran the map. Like I maybe Jolly's like, okay, I get it. Jinx is not as good in. No offense to Jinx. Jinx is not as good as in jungle as he is as a frontline role. A frontline role that
a lot more
roams the map.
Support, for sure.
Yeah. Like he just can play the map better.
Yeah, like so you give him one roaming role that can't insta die.
Right.
And he made a bunch of space, created opportunities, right?
Kept his backline alive on Afro.
Exactly. Then you give him the roaming role that can die, where he overextends sometimes and maybe gets picked a couple times where he maybe shouldn't. Me personally, I'm putting him in the one that builds thieves. So I mean,
you're not building thieves anymore, though.
Oh, true. Male renewal meta.
Male renewal meta.
So
I agree.
Or,
I think
or fucking flex meta.
Yeah.
So one of the two.
this is a good roster. I think they'll finish
Yeah.
top 8 for sure.
Yeah.
Assuming
next?
things
Who's next?
don't implode or anything, which
Yeah.
is
we can talk
always
about a roster that will implode.
Oh boy, should we talk about the roster that's going to implode?
Skogs, baby.
Owen Diff once again not learning from his past mistakes, as is tradition. Owen Diff 2 seasons ago playing with the Scythro. Scythro bails on that roster, doesn't want to play. Owen Diff very next season drafts Scythro. Scythro gets banned mid-season. Now captaining yet again, taking Kernoyan first. We love that. Fantastic first pick for Owen Diff. It looks great. Yeah. Owen Diff on track to do well with the fantastic roster, picking up one of the top junglers in the league. And then he drafts Athens drop down Bacon.
Bacon's going to walk in that team's going to say, oh my God, you Sparta shitters. I can't believe you don't know how to. And then it's cooked.
It's cooked. Like, it's cooked, man. Owen Diff seems to think that he's going to vibe with Bacon and it's going to take one bad game and it's over, man. It's going to take one bad scrim, one bad game, and it's over. The roster is Owen Diff, Kernoyan, Bacon, Face 19, St. Thomas, Kratos, and I'm Pathos. Shoutouts to I'm Pathos, support for my team last season. I mean, the biggest talking point is definitely how long does it take Bacon to implode and get either banned or just self-drop and not play with his team anymore?
I think it's all going to depend on Golden Apple results and whatever conference they get put into, and then the schedule in that conference, right? So if they do get in Golden Apple and they have an easy conference, so, that team will stay together till final.
Well, that's the thing, right? And so if you, even just scheduling wise, if you face a good team week 1 and you lose, you're going to struggle. And I don't think Bacon as a player is someone who does well with the mental game. And so I think he's going to have a really hard time on this team. The rest of the team is okay. Like, even the team itself is not the best in terms of star power. It really is just Bacon, who's really good phenomenally.
I will say
Kern
that
is really
Bacon's
good.
Not even the top mid laner in Sparta.
No, he's not. Which
I will say he's still really good.
He's good.
He's not like by far the best.
He's not the best. He's not like super sick where the game is just free because he's in it. Yeah. But like St. Thomas isn't the best ADC in the world. Face is like an okay solo laner. Again, Kern is a top jungler.
And I think maybe it's because of the pick order they got, so they didn't get like an insane roster. You got a consistently like okay roster, minus the Bacon pickup, which he is probably really good in mid for them. But mental wise,
St. Thomas as a player, he's not that good. Like I played against him like I don't even think last season, but like the season before, and I really wasn't impressed. And so I don't think St. Thomas is going to do well here. I mean, he's got Owen Diff in the dual lane. It's going to be a tough one for this roster, I think. And if the dual lane just ints, which is a possibility, Bacon's going to tilt, and so it's hard for this team. I think they got it's all about the mental game for this team. It really is. They are their own worst enemies this season.
Oh no, straight up, completely agree.
Let's move on.
Let's see. Yep, let's move on. Who's next?
I want to talk about Kitsune.
Okay,
I want to talk about Lizdexia banking it all on the fact that she's going to get either Death Guy or Zexy. And she got neither. Yeah. And she first picked Elite Tortuga.
GG.
And she has put him in support.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know. Isn't he plays jungle?
He's a jungle main. Yeah, it's yeah. I saw like following draft, I saw that pick and I'm like, this is over. I'm like, we're gonna get everything we want. This is so over. Lizdexia picks Elite Tortuga first overall for her team. 2 IC in ADC. Bankable Monster is a solid middle laner, sure. Nelxo, who is Nelly, who for some reason is back. Lord Lud and Aiden BTV. Aiden's really good, and I had him in a lot of my scouting matches. Aiden and or Mario Bro. Mario Bro was their third choice. Unlucky. We'll get to that in a bit.
True.
Yeah, I mean, Nelly's back in Sparta. Last time he played, he was on Flaming Tanukis with the Expert and made finals and then left for a whole season. Decided to go harass a streamer at some point and then kind of disappeared off the face of the earth and came back to OSL for some reason.
Interesting.
Don't know why that's a thing, but he's back and he's not going to stay on this roster long, I think. I think he's there to try and be traded.
Yeah, I can see that, but like, who wants them? You know, what I mean, like you're getting a player for a trade value that no one wants,
right? And
because
so,
he's a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think everyone knows about this, but like, I agree. It's really weird. The rest of the roster,
once it's public knowledge, it's over.
Yeah, the rest of the roster is like okay. Like it's not there's no star players to me. 2IC is pretty good. Like he's solid and consistent. Tortuga can be consistent, but in support, I don't know. Aiden's actually quite good. But Aiden has some, shall we say, issues in the sense of he treats the comp games like a rank game, maybe. And I haven't seen his ability to like rein it in and like take the step back, instead of going Blink Yanis, maybe going Aegis and surviving it a little longer to get a second round of cooldowns off, or just small things where it's like comp versus ranked.
I see.
That being said, I think Aiden's still pretty good, and maybe he's going to be the player to lean on this season, but Bankwell's starting, I would imagine. So Bankwell will be mid laner here. Again, just consistent. It's just I think, again, Liz has a middle of the pack, if not, middle of the pack roster. It's just, it's okay.
Agreed.
They can maybe
make like one of the top teams, but
yeah,
they can take some games off probably any team. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But they could also lose games to teams that they should be beating, kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Completely. For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Should we do RJ?
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Captain Flippin' Ninjas is in Sparta. Did not expect that this season for sure, but Flippin' Ninjas is here in Sparta on the Royal Jesters. Has drafted Kaisman first, an Athens drop down, who is I think solo. Looney Tunes, Lord Livid, Discreeter, Drowsy, and Mendoza Kai. Yes, Mendoza Kai. Indeed. Looney Tunes is good ADC, provides good comms. There's just no, I mean, Flippin' Ninjas has to beat the leader here. I mean, there's no leader on this team in my opinion, and it's got to be Flippin' Ninjas. Yeah, and I assume Flippin' is playing support, which is interesting. So it could be a good team, but I also think it could fall kind of flat and not work out how you expected it to.
True. Completely agree. I think I don't see there's a world where they're a bottom teamer. I think probably just
right. I agree.
Similar to Kitsune, can take games off any team. Maybe they lose some games to teams they probably shouldn't be losing to. I think this team depends on how much they scrim. Straight up.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
If they scrim a ton, then they could be good. They could be pretty good. But if they don't scrim, they'll be okay at best.
Yeah, so. I agree. I mean, there's not much to say about that team, honestly. Like, I think there's just not. I don't know who Lord Livid is. I don't know who Discreeter is. Drowsy's pretty good.
I think Discreeter was Delphi.
I think so too. Before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about my least favorite org name this season. Food Fighters.
Okay. Word.
Yeah.
Got it. That's the new ENized organization.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this name because I love the names like Fagard. It's kind of cool. Going Ghost, cool. Yep. Heart Showers is okay. It's still not the best. Lahungla.
I thought it was Heart Showers.
Is it? It's showers, isn't it? It's spelled showers.
You spell showers the same way.
I know, right? I don't like this.
Well, I like Heart Showers because it means that at least someone's bathing on that team. So let's just go with Heart Showers.
Right. Anyways, Food Fighters. Who's fighting food, man? Like, no. Anyways,
their mascot's the Xingqian skin.
I know. Yoshikira, captain of this team. Yoshikira had a really bad season last season on RJ. Could not get many wins on that team. Now captaining. Hopefully he has a better season. Playing solo. You got Tova Masor, champion of last season from ADC, now playing mid lane. American Tangents, Impunction, and Joe from New York. Hunter is the sub, and Mood is the sub.
Yep.
Impunction I played with. I was playing mid, he was playing ADC. Do not remember much from that game, because it was not my scouting match. I was subbing.
Valid.
So I did not pay much attention. Tangents is a solid jungler, not top of the table, around the middle of the pack. Tova is not a good mid laner. I'm shocked he's playing mid. I feel like he finally began to understand his role in AD carry. He was soloing Vayu last season in finals. He was popping off. And then he switches to mid. And I get it. Maybe you're just trying to have fun, but I feel like he finally understood the role. and he's just making a role change. So we'll see. Maybe he goes back to ADC and you put Hunter in mid. That's always a possibility. Hunter, I believe, is a mid laner. So that can always happen. You can always make some role changes. But Yoshikura, American Tangents, solid 2v2 there in solo jungle. Tangents and Tova, I feel like Tangents just has to take that over. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep, I think they'll be okay.
Agreed. This might be a bottom end team for me. We'll see. It's a maybe. It's a maybe.
Less okay than Kitsune and Royal Jesters, but they'll be like okay. They're I think by no means are they the worst team.
I can see them being scrim demons though.
True.
Like popping off in scrims and just not able to translate to game day. We'll see though.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
But playing lots of
that feels awful. By the way. Oh man. Where's the Albion last season, guys? Anyway.
That's what happened last season. Not again. I know. Anyways, Hydra, who's next?
Ooh, let's see. Let's go with the organ that took me this season. Big scary dark. Psych. Let's go with Blood Wardens. I want to talk about this roster so bad.
Okay.
Chillville. Yeah, Chillville's the captain.
Yeah, he is.
And they end up taking Mario Bro. Athens Waterfall.
Yeah.
Let's say he was Sparta last season. Got placed in the Athens pool this season, went undrafted.
He asked to play in Athens, and he did not. Yeah.
I did a couple scouting games. Played in them, whatever, and then ends up waterfalling back down to Sparta. Genuinely though, I will say I am surprised that he didn't go sooner in the draft. When did he get drafted?
He went first round. So
yeah, it was first round.
The priority was ADCs for a lot of teams. That was so nice about our team being being the ADC captain, the only ADC captain. I did not have to worry about that role. Where is transactions? Let me take a peek real quick. I think it was early on, but not the most early.
Yeah. I don't think he was top 5. I don't think he was.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was number 5.
There we go. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's why I remember 5.
Yeah.
But he was 5th pick overall. I think he'll do good in Sparta.
I think I don't know. I think
he's not one. He's in the top 5 80s, top 6 80, top 8 ADCs in Sparta.
I have had this take. I think he will get heavily punished by the 9.5 changes.
Ooh.
Because last season he had a lot of positioning errors, and I was talking about this with someone recently in Sparta who was also playing last season, and they had the take that last season the team played around Mario Bro. Like Mario Bro was their focal point, and that's why Mario Bro did really well. I don't entirely agree, but I could see what they mean, and I do agree.
See what they meant.
Yeah, like Mario Bro was definitely a focal point. They ganked his lane a lot. They really focused on getting shield buffs for him so he can be prioritized. I could see that being the argument last season. This season he's got Tactical, who's a very good jungler. Your local Thug, Aqua, and Skull as I assume the main roster. Awesome Luke 2222, and then Azure Effects. And then Trillville, I imagine, is playing support. Hopefully he's not playing jungle again this season.
I doubt it. With him drafting Tactical, I assume he's going to support.
Yeah. And I think he learned from last season's mistakes because he played jungle. It didn't go well. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good roster. I think your local Thug Aqua was definitely someone I was looking at for drafting solo laners if it went that far. Skull is a good mid laner. Played with him, Delphi, a couple seasons back, and played with us in Sparta, not last season, the season before. Ongoing Ghost, pretty good, pretty solid. Has a mean Marticarus and has the potential to be a top end mid laner. Just needs a good jungler, and I think Tactical can provide that. Tactical has, I haven't seen Tactical in comp, and my argument for ranked is he likes to gank side lanes a lot, which could be a very one-dimensional jungle playstyle. Rather than prioritizing your farm and stuff, which I think is more important right now. So again, depends how this team vibes, how this team clicks, but I think they can be good. I think they could be a good upper end team. But yeah, we'll see. I think it depends. And again, this back line I don't think is as strong as, say, the Dive, for example.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
But we'll see. We'll see if Mario Bro has another decent season. But Mario Bro is notorious for not having good relic usage, and I think you get prioritized. you get punished for that a lot more this season now more than ever. Yeah.
You will straight up insta die if you don't relic correctly at this point. So yeah.
I've had to really focus on that recently, and that's what I'm really trying to prioritize a lot more is reaction time and relic usage for sure.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now do you want to talk about Dargans?
Yeah, sure. I'm joking. Yeah. Let's talk about them. So this team, Big Scary Dargans, it's a Tanuki's renamed. Flaming Tanuki's is no longer an Oregon OSL. They've renamed to an older org that used to be part of Valhalla, called Big Scary Dargans.
Dargans as opposed to dragons. It's I guess it's an intentional misspelling.
That's my home this season, guys. Big Scary Dargans.
Yeah, you're in the bench though.
We'll see. No. See though. Okay. But yeah. So physics.
Physics is the captain.
For the
he's
team.
He's playing support this season, which is notable. He was a solo laner last season. Drafted Adzi to play solo. Don't know who Heavy Warcrier is.
Unfamiliar with their game. Unfamiliar. So.
Keep TMG banned, which is a Riddy.
That's a Riddy.
Keep Thockman Jones banned.
Keep Thockman Jones banned, everybody. Let's
Honestly,
go.
Understandable. It's Reiku, which is a pretty good spot to grab this mid laner. Josh the Landlord and Bo. Warcrier is a solo. So is Adzi jungle? Adzi is jungle. Okay, Adzi is a good jungler. Adzi won jungle, not last season, again the season before. In jungle for Wailing Banshees. Can be a good jungle, but depends. So we'll see. Yeah, this is a pretty good roster.
Yep, they're good. I think they're solid. I think it also just depends on how much they scrim, yes, but how much the other teams that they're going to be playing against are scrimming, if that makes sense. Like, how good will their competition be, and how locked in are they? And
and I think meta is really important for this team. Like what the meta is, and like if characters are really good, like I think
if Adzi gets like OP jungles, he gets his picks.
Adzi's a notorious Thor player, and Thor is very good right now. So I wouldn't be surprised seeing just Thor bans against this team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Fallen Angels.
Yep.
New org.
New org. Yeah. The brand new OSL at least.
C Spades. Yep. Captain support player for this team. First pick's Gatto Griff.
Okay. Now, to be fair, I think this is a good first pick.
Agreed. For what was available. Well,
for what was available at that point in the draft. I mean. Wait, did Kern get picked before?
Kern got picked after. So
never mind.
Okay, let's talk about like Gatto and Kern. Gatto was someone I was looking at for jungle. And I love Gatto. I love teaming with Gatto. Gatto and a lot of people outside of OSL have been saying that he's fallen off. Gatto had a great season towards the end last season. And I think he's looking to try and find himself this season and really be a carry jungler again like he used to be. That's one thing I think he's lost, and it has led to him thinking about the game in a different way, which is good, but I think he has lost some of his carry potential that he used to just have. You know, people would just first ban Rat against him because his Rat was that good, and I want to see that Gatto come back, and so I hope he does well this season. I'm against him, but I hope he does well.
Exactly. Which one the best?
Yeah, exactly. And so C Spades drafts Gatto, and I think that combo is pretty good. Czar, who's going to be playing mid. Czar's actually ADC here, I think. Actually, I don't know. I think it could be a bit of, we'll see, because Freak is then drafted, who is a mid laner, and then Eden V, and then it's Sogno, who is an ADC, and then Nero. So, first of all, so happy Eden V got drafted. This guy is phenomenal. Delphi last season, phenomenal player. Deserves the spot this season, and I think will do well in solo. And then the rest of the roster is pretty good. I feel like this is a team that will build synergy really good together.
Yep. I think it just kind of just depends on how much they want to work for it. I think they'll build their synergy over time for sure. And I'm excited to see where they end the season off, honestly. So
yeah, agreed. Zara wanted to play mid, I think, this season. But I think she's probably going to be ADC for this team, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because I think she would do really well with the mid meta right now. So we'll see.
Very true.
Fagard. Suck
Fagard,
Fagard.
yep.
Suck the phase.
Extra large Poncho is the captain of this team.
The pronoun stealers, as some would say.
True.
Yeah, Poncho, who again didn't have the greatest season last year, but can just hard carry games in mid, but is not playing mid, I imagine, because he's drafted his bestie, Red Buff Bandit. Athens Draft down.
Red Buff Bandit.
Yeah,
as well during the draft.
I knew Poncho was gonna yoink him.
Yeah,
and so I was like, do I mess with Poncho? Probably not. Just let the guy play.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if I draft RBB, is he going to be playing as well as he would if he was with Poncho? Probably not. But I've played with both of them before in a tournament Wraithen hosted a while back in season 7. It was the final tournament of season 7. It's like a Raffer charity tournament where like Raffer's home had flooded or something, and Wraithen was putting this tournament on. It was a draft tournament. I got in with Poncho and RBB. We won the whole bloody thing. It was great. It was streamed and everything. It was a blast. But we popped off and we won. It was great. Joev in mid, Volg and solo. Love to see him starting. And Slick ADC last season Delphi, this season now in Sparta. Slick, I think, is also going to have a hard time adapting to the Sparta climate, so to speak, and like meta of how you have to play an ADC.
Yeah, I can agree. I think a lot of people that come from Delphi need to make that adjustment to Sparta. It would just take some time, and it depends on how willing they are to learn, I think.
Agreed. Yeah. Poncho and RBB, I think, are going to do really well as a combo. I'm a little confused where everyone's going because Joev is also a mid laner. Yeah, I'm just not sure where everyone's going on this team yet. So it really is a wait and see at this moment.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out in a week. After, Golden Apple comes, I guess we'll see the roster.
Golden Apple's on the way. Heart Showers, we can talk about them. Forerunner, I don't know who Forerunner is.
No idea. I think it's a rename, but
I think they're playing solo.
Okay.
And they have drafted Nyx Fall. I don't know who that is. River, Crete Draft, Airhead, Zaya Enjoyer, and Pittsburgh Atom. I think this roster's probably going to suck.
I also agree.
I don't know who Nyx Fall is. Crete Draft plays with somebody here. River plays with Zaya Enjoyer, so that dual lane could be pretty good.
Yeah, I will say, I think, let's see, River has been in Athens before. Pittsburgh Atom has been in Athens before. So they've been around people that like know how to take a team and put it in a good direction. Pittsburgh Atom teamed with Gabe Ethan before. River teamed with, who was on it was Crew in like season 2. So whoever's man, who was it?
Oh, who are you talking about?
A Garrett. River teamed with A Garrett at some point as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but they've been on teams with people that know how to take a team in a really good direction. So maybe
that's fair.
Pull on that experience.
Yeah, and Zaya Enjoyer and River are Q buddies, so I feel like they have that synergy already. Maybe they can work well together and like just dominate the duo lane. We'll see.
Yeah, but initially they may suck, so we'll see.
Yeah, I do believe Crete Draft, despite being drafted 3rd on this team, I think he'll be on the bench.
Could happen.
Yeah,
very well could happen.
Moving on, who do we have left?
La Jungla.
Yes, so Starry is a cutie. First picks Death Guy. Someone we were looking at. Death Guy's pretty good. Gonna be mid for this team again. Last season's champion. Cornicle, Arrow, Zero, Cole, and Slag. Kind of disappointed Slag isn't starting, but you got Zero on that team, so
yeah. I think it's just a test of like what support is better for the meta for that team.
Yeah,
because they took 2 really good supports. But overall, I think that team's gonna be pretty solid. You have Death Guy. He's Death Guy. He's playing really well.
Yep.
So yeah. So we'll see him.
Yeah. Cornicle back. He didn't play last season, I don't think, and so that'll be interesting. Like, is Cornicle going to be consistent again? I don't know.
Yep.
Starry was pretty consistent last season. Starry is a player though, I find, where he can make just the silliest of oopsies. He could just make the silliest mistakes and just get punished for them. It's possible, but we'll see. Arrow is I'm glad Arrow's starting. I feel like he's deserved the opportunity to start for a bit now, but he needs to put in the work and prove that he can stay as a starting jungler.
Yeah, for sure.
And he really needs a team to vibe with, I think, to do that. And so I think this is a good place to do that. But we'll see. Zero, again, I think it's just toss up which support will start. I imagine Zero will, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Have we talked No, KWM.
Yep, they're next.
LDG Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They take the expert top overall.
Athens dropped down because the expert was also not drafted in Athens. Expert's been on a grind lately, but I think once again, if you just ban the characters that he can kind of just not get punished on, I think you can once again punish him for overextending and kind of going off on his own.
I will say, I did see the expert in my rank queue. Like one time during like scouting matches like were happening and stuff like that. So 2600, 2700-ish, somewhere in there. And I was playing jungle Maui because I forgot what role I was playing and just locked in Maui and I was somehow my jungler. And he did lose. So so but to be fair, to his credit, I think if you give him one of the couple picks that he's like really good at.
I'm taking notes. This is how to beat the expert coming soon.
Lock in jungle Maui mannequins is
letting Zexy know this Tuesday we're practicing the Maui jungle.
Yeah, mannequins mace, by the way. Don't do hidden dagger. It was mace. Anyway.
Damn.
But yeah, if you get him on a character he's comfortable with, he can basically run a team down by himself. He can basically 1v9 on like Wukong or something. Wukong tier, anything that's like really hard for him to get caught out on, makes a ton of space. Those picks he looks great on. Anything else, he's okay.
Yeah, agreed.
He's okay.
You got EC Benson on the team, Dr. Slime, Boxy, Simply, and Madeline.
Benson Simply dual lane. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Benson's pretty good.
Yeah, solid, really solid.
Yeah, Benson's a top support. Always pretty good. I don't know much about Dr. Slime. LGD Fish is playing jungle. I know that. And then I think Boxy mid ? I don't know. It's depends on who starts, but I think this could be an okay team. The team is definitely their front line. Like Benson and Expert will run games, and the question will be can there be follow up and can you make plays with your back line?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's going to be the core part of this roster is like, hey, can they capitalize on what our front line is doing? Can we do something with the opportunities that we are being given? Yes or no? If it's yes, you're probably going to win the set. Yeah. So let's see.
The crew, we haven't talked about the crew yet. We got Trezzy, who's captaining this season. Proflux, who was picked Proflux about 20, no, not even 20, about less than 10 minutes before draft started at 7 p.m. There was an announcement that Proflux would no longer have issues in terms of scheduling and making the default time so that he could be drafted. And sure enough, he goes up in the first round, 4th overall to the crew. Trey, we love to see Trey getting a starting spot. Joshy Poo loves you. Don't know who that is. Double, Doom Sauce, and Trioculate. Have learned that Double is not starting on this team, and it will be Doom Sauce starting on this team. And,
oh, really?
Not the biggest Doom Sauce fan, personally. I feel like he's a very ego player. He's the type of person going around calling people pussies for the sake of in a video game, and I'm like, okay.
Unlucky.
Just a huge ego player, and I feel like that can very quickly turn the mood sour. So we'll see.
Right. Well, I'm a big Trey fan.
Also a big Trey fan.
Is super sick. I think Proflux, if he's as sick as he used to be when he played in collegiate, he may just be old and washed. We'll find out. But if he's like good, I think this team has a really solid back line. The question is going to be their front line. Does the front line stack up to the rest of the league? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But overall, I think they'll be a pretty okay team. I think their backline can do really, really good things for this team, though. So we'll see. One question I have is who's going to be shot calling for this team?
Yes. Yes.
If they lack direction, they're going to look like they are a bunch of Delphi call-ups. And if they have direction, they will look okay. They'll look good.
Permission to segue?
Oh, yeah. Segue it.
Speaking of a team that lacks cohesion, Bard's College. Bud, Adora, Skizzy, Wobble, Onk, Realty, and Miko or Inori. Right. Look, I wasn't impressed with Bud last season. still personally not that impressed. I know Bud likes to talk with the talk and thinks he's super sick and all that, and Athens
But
ready.
can he walk the walk?
He cannot walk the walk, in my opinion. I think this team will rely very heavily on Adora. And I know that because we scrimmed them tonight and it was not very close. This is a team that's going to need some time to ramp up and is going to need all of its players on to succeed. And I'm just, it's not a good, it's just not the best roster in my opinion. I think it has players that can be good. Like Skizzy has moments of brilliance. Wobble has moments of brilliance. But I don't think that they're extremely consistent enough to they can't solo carry games, which is okay. That it's very hard to solo carry games right now. I think Adora will have to be a big integral part of it. And if he's not, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But it's just scrims. Again, I'm not a big scrim results person. Just it's a feeling I had beforehand, and it was an opinion that was kind of validated a little bit.
Right.
But we'll wait and see. It's a long season. This is a team I feel can ramp up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
And that's it. That's Sparta.
Yeah, that's Sparta. I guess we'll quickly talk about Warriors of Albion roster. I think for Delphi and Crete.
Sure.
Let's
Let's
talk
do that.
about every other roster. It'd be like insane.
Yeah.
So, Delphi roster, Warriors of Albion. Bob's Inter is the captain. Takes Cheese in the top round overall. Cheese was the top ADC in Delphi before. Ends up just getting top picked by us again. Narco Marco goes as well. Really
what a name.
Solo laner. I know, love that. Savillis is a support for this team. Sam Howell was the Sparta drop down. I believe they're playing jungle. And then El Nino Rata also gets picked up. Martian Cabbage is sub, Giggly Goose is sub. Overall, pretty good roster. I think it might be one of the better rosters that Warriors Albion has ever put together for Delphi. Last year was gonna be hard to beat.
That's what I was hearing. I was hearing this roster apparently is really good this season for Delphi.
Yeah. The Delphi roster is really good. Some people are unimpressed by it, but that's just because they don't understand how good the players are individually.
They don't know the ball per se.
Exactly. And in Delphi, a lot more than in Sparta and Athens, individual play matters a lot more.
Yes.
In like Crete and Delphi. So if you have a couple stars on your team, they're going to shine a lot better here. Anything else to add before we move on to Crete?
Nothing in. Oh, one thing. Venus Flytrap going 7th round in Delphi is trolled. Venus Flytrap deserves a starting spot and will get his day soon. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah. We were talking about this actually. Him getting that far down the draft. I was like, if anyone even glanced over the scouting game screenshots, they'd understand how much better he is as an ADC than half the starting ADCs that got drafted. I'm like, dude.
But, okay, they have not updated the Crete draft on this website. That's brutal.
Well, I think they have screenshots still.
Gotta pop transactions open.
Unlucky. Let's go to transactions.
Which, by the way, did you notice that this one looks so much better than the ones we were using for Athens and Sparta?
Whoever redid this one, they're the GOAT.
This is so cool. Wait, is this Valhalla?
Darkened it.
Is that why? Is this Valhalla? I don't know. Oh no, probably not. No, this looks really good though.
No, it's not.
I like this graphic a lot more.
They just made it darker and then like blurred it a little bit more, and so you can read it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You can't read the other one because there's white background on non-white. I didn't like it. Yeah, I agree. This is so much better. So much better.
Yep. Goated, actually, simply.
Majin is captaining his Crete team.
Yep, yet again.
You got.
They take TTV Noxus overall. I will say, I'm not gonna say what role anyone's playing because it's so funny. Because no one, like anyone that like sees the roles, they're gonna be like, what role are they like drafting for? Because on paper, Majin's on paper jungler. He drafts 2 solos back to back, a mid laner, 2 ADCs, and then 2 junglers.
It could be anyone.
On paper, he doesn't have a support. But knowers know that he has a support ready. So
I'm not a knower, but honestly, I respect it.
So Noxus very likely to be jungling for this team. Free Bowling was his support / solo laner last season. He just moved roles midway through the season because they had someone rage quit the team basically, and he stepped up to role change. But Free Bowling's played support and solo in comp before. Crabapple was a top end or like, yeah, I think top end is the right word to say it. Top end ADC last season, so he's gonna just end up drafting him for ADC, I think, again this season. And then he was like, well, do I really need to do that though? And then he drafts Mommy Sypha, one of the more controversial figures in the Crete community, from my understanding. But like whatever, we prioritize winning over everything here. So then Mommy Sypha's gonna go ADC. Crabapple is probably gonna go mid. Free Bowling is gonna go to solo, Noxus jungle, Majin Busha support. So we may see a Majin support angle this season.
Interesting.
Could be really exciting. I'm really excited to see that. And then he drafted 3 subs. Bunny Tush, Barky J, and Rory Mercury Simp.
Shoutouts to Rory Mercury. Absolutely.
Shoutouts to Rory Mercury. Love that.
Robocop in the chat wants to know, Hydra, talk about the Ivory Macaroon 55 draft stocks going up. I don't know who that is.
That's the 26th overall pick in Crete. Going to start Castronauts Going Ghost roster, which that team probably has the best backline in Crete. They have Sarcastronaut support Acerman ADC. They drafted their solo laner 3rd, which was Ivory Macaroon 55. New to OSL in general, newer to comp as well. But played like a shit ton of scouting games. Looked pretty good in some of them. Looked off in some others because he was off-rolling and stuff like that. But should be good enough to fill in the role they need. They ended up taking a mini donut, I think, for jungle and proper scrub for mid. So that team should be pretty good. I know that team's already fake beefing with Royal Jesters because it's like there's like friends across team lines there, which is pretty funny. So I hope to see some really funny scrims, some funny ego. Maybe tier lists where you put each other bottom for saying that they like the wrong kind of cheese or something. I don't know. It's just some fun stuff though. But overall, I think the Crete draft was really interesting. People got taken in higher spots than I'm sure that they even thought they'd be drafted in. Each team got a pretty good team, I think, overall. And for Warriors of Albion, I think this is Warriors of Albion's best season overall in terms of drafts.
Agreed.
Warriors of Albion, you cannot argue at least 3 divisions worth of the teams being super teams. That's a good feeling to have. That's a good feeling to have. Athens is a really good team, I think. Sparta's a really good team. Crete's a really good team. And people are doubters on the Delphi team, but I still think the Delphi team's really, really good. So, yeah,
I mean, I think the vibe on the team for us is feeling pretty good. I mean, we played our first scrim tonight, and despite having Halanu subbed out, I think we're feeling pretty good. I think we have a true test in facing the crew on Tuesday as a scrim. Again, the results don't matter, but I think it's a good gauge to tell us, how we could do what we can work on, how we could do, what work we have to do going to Golden Apple. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. RCN wants to know in the chat, did you talk about Sparta yet? We talked about every team in Sparta and the rosters and what we think. We will be posting this on YouTube likely tomorrow, and I'll be posting it on Spotify sometime soon. Excited to get this show kind of promoted a lot more as of late. But yeah, we'll be posting these on YouTube, and you can watch in the Twitch VOD as well after.
Yeah. Peep the VOD, peep the YouTube content for sure. And give it a listen on Spotify once it's up.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, I am of the semblance that I think there are a lot of good Warriors of Albion teams right now. And I think some of them maybe not start well, but I think some of them may grow and do better as the season progresses, and we'll keep tabs on how they do doing that. Why not Crete talk? Because I'm not a Crete player. I have no idea what goes on in Crete. Hydra's not a Crete player. He has no idea what really goes on in Crete. If we we will have guests.
I think we bring on like a Crete guest.
Yeah, we will
bring on a Crete guest.
We will be bringing on guests as well. We've talked about this of like who we have on. Why do you hate me? I don't hate anyone. That's not true. I do hate some people, but they're usually bad people. But I don't hate you or a severe Sypha. But ultimately, we will be having guest speakers on. I know Majin's already said he's down to come chat. We'll probably get more of the Warriors of Albion players to come chat. I know Majin has said he wants to do captain interviews and player interviews once a week for I think all of the teams, or if not like either, I don't know if it's like one team or one player a week, but he wants to do a bunch of content for that. So we'll see. But I know like maybe we'll put some of the interviews on this show as well. And just talk about that. There's a lot like, and we're also super open to content creation, like ideas, like things we could do on this show. I know we're probably going to do a tier list at some point for Sparta.
Oh, for sure.
Sparta is definitely our main focus, though, I think, just because like you're coaching the team and I'm captaining the team, and yeah, Sparta is definitely our main focus. Plus, so much goes on in Sparta than any other division. 3 players got banned in one day last season in Sparta.
True.
Like,
hey, listen. We did have 311 happen in Athens. That was also pretty funny.
Is 311 the Sparta team getting called up to come sub in?
Well, that's the result of 311, but yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, oh man, the world was burning around that time. It was funny.
Yeah. Ain't nobody outdoing us. Oh, I guess we never talked about that actually. The biggest, most fantastic situation happened in drafting in Sparta.
Us
with last pick having the opportunity to gatekeep Rush and defy the Delphology from coming true. Everyone typing in RUSH, me typing in RUSHOLO. Psych, Thunder, and everyone lost their minds. It was so funny to watch.
I mean, to be fair though, why would you? Like you're an ADC captain.
Yeah, like I don't.
Why would you keep him? Like,
yeah, I didn't look. Rush and I don't get along. Rush and I don't get along. True. We wouldn't get along, and I'm not one to. I mean, if he was to go to a team, in Sparta, it would not be mine, and other people who would want his skills of being able to play multiple roles at an okay level, would have wanted him. And so I'm not gonna draft players that would rather go down than ride the bench. So it's fine. It's fine by me. But a lot of people coming after me for that was get a Rush interview right now. No.
Maybe one day. But not today.
Not this. Look, he's not in Warriors of Albion, man. He's not our problem.
True. I will say him waterfalling down to Delphi makes him a very remarkable force in Delphi, I will say.
I don't know, man. Didn't get drafted first round.
Hear me out, right? Rush will speak with so much confidence, like, hey,
it's true.
Hey guys, I think we should do this. And he'll give a team direction as long as they're willing to listen. And be like, hey guys, we fight around Fire Giant right now.
It may not be the right call, but
if they all listen to it,
it's a call.
A hell of a lot more than half the Delphi teams have, man.
It's true. So, it's true. It is true.
Like, yeah. So I think personally, the team that has Rush might do just really well. What team is that actually? Oh, it's Royal Jesters.
There you go.
Yeah. I think this team should just like calm diff people, like
allegedly, yeah. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah. What it is, though.
Yeah, we've been going for a while. We've been at this for over an hour and 20 minutes, so we should wrap it up soon-ish. Any other final? Let's okay. For Sparta specifically, what team do you think is going to win Golden Apple?
Okay, looking straight at rosters.
Keep in mind, we don't have our starting support.
Yep.
And I know there will be other teams that don't have starting players.
I will say, I think Golden Apples is a really bad time for every support in existence.
I think it's a bad time for every player in existence.
Yeah, like
because
Athens
it's never announced ahead of time.
Be there. Yeah, like Athens has like 5 or 6 supports that just aren't going to be playing Golden Apple. At a minimum, 5 or 6 supports. By the way, it might be more. Sparta has hella supports that aren't going to be making it. So it's just really funny.
Yeah.
But looking just strictly off like rosters and with the knowledge that your support won't be there for Golden Apple. Let's see. I mean, I think as long as as long as nothing bad happens, it's a bunch of best of ones. So that's also
It is the
important
most
to know.
Mickey tournament ever, but yes.
It could be Skogs.
Okay.
It could also be La Jungla.
Okay.
And it could honestly just still be Warriors of Albion, straight up. So those are my three, not in any order, but those are my three that I have probably just winning.
Okay. I actually don't think we're going to do well in the best of one format, but we'll see. I think we're really good. Fine. I think we're a really good team at adapting, but I don't think we're going to do well in the best of ones.
Nah, I think you guys are going to cook, especially if the scrims Tuesday go well for you guys. I think you guys will go in.
Yeah, we'll see.
In a good way.
Dude, my hair is just not having it tonight, man. This these strands are just like not having it.
I feel that.
What the fuck? I think I have a take. I think it's gonna be Going Ghost. I think Going Ghost are gonna win this Golden Apple. I think that's gonna be
the Jolly Mini backline.
Yeah, I think the Jolly Mini backline is gonna cook. For Golden Apple, I think this is a team that's gonna start strong and then fall off, similar to last season's Going Ghost.
Fair. That's actually really fair. Yeah. I think the front line might sell, honestly, because honestly, I think your support and you're still going to be doing so much in the early and mid game, and then even late game, like you're still going to be diving correctly. If Jinx Q was support, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's the jungler, so I'm just like,
Big Scary Dargans winning. I'll have to go back to see what we thought of Big Scary Dargans then, because I don't think they are.
Adzi, Warcrier.
Look, I could see a team just coming out like I think, man. Okay, what was the team? It was Banshees. I think Banshees maybe has a shot as well, because like Rich being like, yeah, we have synergy. Maybe we click. Like teams that have early synergy early on will do better.
That's true.
And find their play style sooner rather than later. But I will say, I think finding a play style early is a little spooky. And that's why I was so glad tonight. I was like, oh, I can see semblances. But I did not see a defined play style just yet.
Right.
And I was like, I think finding a play style too early can be bad, because then you're not looking to other, like, you're like, okay, we have to make certain picks work in this style of play versus like your inability to like branch out and find other ideas. That's my opinion. And that's why tonight I was like, oh, we've won both games, but it doesn't matter. We can still cook.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
La Jungla clears. I don't know. Listen, actually, I did say that you guys could just win the whole thing.
It's true. It's true. But that's Golden Apple. So. Golden Apple doesn't matter.
It's Golden Apple.
The only benefit of Golden Apple is the gems. Let's be real.
That's so valid. I'm still enjoying my my OSL Season 2 Golden Apple gems. I still have not spent them yet. So I literally just don't spend gems.
Can you buy me skins? I really want skins. Yeah.
Man.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. I think it's Yeah, I think we've touched on most stuff. Let's look at chat really quick before we wrap down really quick. Jinx does well when someone else is leading when he's jung.
If chat has questions for us or opinions they want from us, by all means, feel free to ask.
See, okay, Jolly, I can see what you mean by that, but the thing is, like, I think everyone else on that roster does less in support than Jinx does. That's not even like, I'm not saying that he's a bad jungler. I'm saying he's just a better support.
It's true.
So,
what do you think of Heart Showers? We gave an opinion of Heart Showers already, but just very, very brief. We just kind of said we don't know a lot of the players here. Like, we don't know who Nixfall is. Forerunner, we don't know. Crete Draft isn't starting. Good. Zaya and Joy and River are the best part of that team. To sum it up. Any other questions, folks? One thing to note before we wrap up the show, we will be on Spotify. I will be posting this on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Go follow it at youtube.com/spiritedbook, I believe, or youtube.com/spiritedbook65. I can't remember. I'll double check for it right now. Post lots of at Spirited Book on YouTube. Posting all our episodes there. And then I think that's everything? Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything else. Yeah. No, the only one piece of drama that we did see happen was Brownside was drafted into Sparta and was immediately dropped because they self-dropped.
That is worth talking about by every measure.
Yeah, so, I don't understand why you would ever message captains in 2 different draft leagues and be like, don't draft me in this division. I'm good enough to play there, but I want to just be better in this other division. And then they get drafted and they're angry. They throw a little fit and they're like, me. And then they get tossed. Or they don't get tossed, but they like,
they toss themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, no, I think that's actually wild. I mean, I think if you're not willing to waterfall, don't sign up. First of all.
If you're not willing to put in the work for a draft league, don't play. Like don't control if like put in the work, captain a team, then make your own decisions. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yep,
100%. I mean, I think there's reasons why some people wouldn't want to play in a lower division, like default time being different is a big one, but like you can just lessen your availability. So, I don't know. I think it's just kind of a lame move.
Agreed.
So,
agreed. Hydra and SB the goat. We are the goats. We are the goats of our individual teams.
True.
Yeah, scrims went well tonight, man. They were good. They were good scrims. Good work. Love seeing the team click together, and we're gonna continue going. We have not decided on a time that we'll be doing this weekly yet. I said Sunday night, post Sparta set. That makes the most sense, but depending how long the sets go and all that, maybe Monday is just better, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It might just be whenever Hydra and I are free.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Get some consistency. Never. We'll probably pick a day. We'll announce a day for sure. After Golden Apple, because then we'll know what our seasons look like.
Right.
For sure.
And that's the thing is like we'll do an episode every week, and like Golden Apple, we'll be talking about Golden Apple. Week 1, we'll talk about week 1 and whatever else happens and stuff. We'll talk about patches if they come up. Yeah. This week we have like these graphics. We have the same webcam window, which I hate, but we'll get back to that later. We'll work on graphics. We'll work on all that stuff. We'll work on a logo. We got to get a cool theme song going. And yeah, I'll give you Delphi Intel. We got you. We're probably gonna stick to mostly Warriors of Albion folks for a while. Maybe we'll have a guest on for a bit.
That's true. We can get Bobs, but we do need some guests at some point. So
yeah,
we'll have to look at. Yeah,
I want to get Anthony on at some point. Anthony's kind of the goat, man. I love Anthony.
Gotta get on here.
Malum is the goat. Yeah, I think we're good to wrap it up here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Next episode will be after Golden Apple. It'll be after the results, and we'll probably like make a tier list and talk about the results and stuff.
Yeah,
make some good content out of it.
Maybe not a tier. We'll see about the tier list. Yeah, we'll see. I have some takes, and I'll talk to you about them. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking about Golden Apple for sure.
100%.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Spirited Book. Next week we'll try and get it on both my stream and Hydra's stream at the same time.
Yep.
Follow us on your local podcasting platform at Words of Albion Greenroom Podcast as things stands, unless we come up with a better title. We're not sure just yet. But yeah, this has been us. I've been Spirited Book. Joining me is Hydra over here, my goat, my king. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. And we'll catch you guys next time. Next team. After Golden Apple.
Peace out. After GA. Bye.
Bye.